There we go.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to take a moment to remember those veterans that made it possible for us to live in such a wonderful country, town, community like Loch Lomond. Especially want to remember their families, especially their mothers who waited for news on their loved ones to return home. Thank you. I guess officially for the camera here, we don't have a quorum at this time. So roll call. We have Robert Alonso.
Present.
Oh, she's here.
There we go. All right.
Sorry.
She's sliding to home base.
We have a
All right.
quorum. Now we do. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That's all good. Thank you. And so I think we're just a few short on some of these copies for the pricing for the LPR. And I there was plenty of budget ones I thought. Oh, yeah, they're here. Okay, good. You have a budget. And there's more of the LPR quotes right there.
I quoted to 6. I realized I had some.
So,
All right. So we have Leslie, Robert,
Present.
and we have Angel, who serves as our vice president. And myself, Patrick Kunkel, president.
Order of business,
Yep.
deferrals, additions, deletions. I know last meeting, I think you guys kind of wanted the updates on the towns and prior to stating any public comments, just in case if some of those concerns might have been addressed. So I don't know if you wanted to do something similar to that, or just keep it as scheduled.
We would need a motion in order to do that, but
I'll make a motion. You can give an update on things. It might save time for a bit.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, beautiful. I get one in favor. All right. Please do.
Any opposed? None? Awesome, it passes, okay. So before we go into public comments, I'll give you just a few updates of where we are on certain things. Okay, so service issues and options with security services. So as you guys know, as of October 6th, we sent Kent, we have two representatives from Kent here. I guess if there's any questions you may have afterwards, we can discuss that with them. We sent them a list of deficiencies per the contract, where they kind of needed to get up to date, and they had 30 days to do so. That 30-day number was the 6th, which is yesterday, which is why we scheduled the meeting for the 7th. That way we can figure out, moving forward, what we're going to do for, I copied the board with the different things, the list of requirements that we were deficient in. And I received several responses throughout the time. There were several things that were taken care of. I'll just go in order here. So a detailed action plan for communication and reporting with the town on a regular basis to include all reports, guard reports, submit to Kent supervisors, incidents, accidents, equipment repair, etc. And so their response to that is implementing their new proxy system, which is it's an automated system where the guard can submit a report that'll have the date, the time, the location, the incident, it'll be signed. And as soon as they press submit, it gets emailed out automatically to different individuals. It goes to Jerry, it goes to Marcel, who's the account manager, and it also goes to myself as well. They did a couple of test shots of that today, and I was able to receive the email with it was test. So it just had test information, but it was time stamped, it has date, location, and then it would have space to include any incident that may have occurred. An incident could be the gate arm is malfunctioning, or somebody hit the center pole, or, a light's not working, or, there was suspicious activity and this is how it was handled. So those are an example of the different reports that we'd be able to receive in real time, thanks to this proxy system.
How is that being controlled inside of the guardhouse? Get some information on it, because I've watched some of these guards, and no offense to them, I don't know if they're going to be able to truly work an electronic system like that if they haven't been trained properly, every single one. We have some that don't even know how to take the tag sometimes, and we have to remind them, you take the tag. And I know there's been a lot of turnover and it's out of your control sometimes because I know how the job market is. So I also fear your pain on what you're going through, but how are we going to be assured that these individuals are properly trained and what device are they using? Because there's no, unless it was added today, I haven't seen any computers or any devices in there.
There was a couple of items that they did mention that were being added between today and then tomorrow and that's another one of these items was that I know you guys have been requesting for, quite some time I know, I'll give you a chance to speak. I just wanted to finish my end, and then if there's any questions in any detail that we want to go into after that, we can totally, go back and forth on it. And so that's the proxy system, but if we could make a note that you do have a question about the proxy system and its implementation and how they'll be trained in using that system. Replacement of the roving vehicle with a vehicle that meets professional standards. I know a lot of you guys have complained about the state of that vehicle, and you guys are absolutely right. They were able to issue a newer model of a vehicle that does not have all the dents and dings and all of the lights are working. I actually conducted an inspection today, again, of the guardhouse and of the vehicle. All the lights are in working order. There is a working flashlight, which was also an area for concern, right, for the overnight guard, being able to shed light on different items. So there is a flashlight in the vehicle that is working currently. And actually the guard that was taking over from the 2 p.m. time, she was actually conducting an inspection herself as she was coming onto shift. So she was checking all of the lights, making sure the car was gassed up, checking the tires, and doing that as well as I was doing my inspection, making sure the lights on top worked, etc. So that was it was previously a deficiency, but they did check that one off. So that was correct. And then one of the other areas that we were requesting was to make sure that the guard was questioning visitors that were entering between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Because I know it was happening sometimes, but then some of us were like, no, nobody got questioned. It hadn't been happening. So we did request that they go ahead and do that to everyone. They would not be denying access to anybody who didn't answer, but they know that from there, they would go ahead and reach out to the roving guard and have them follow to the location that they're supposedly going to during the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Yes, 11 to 6. So that was something that they said that, and I actually, at the guardhouse, they have a memo that was printed out that actually has that they need to be doing those items as well. So that was on there, a new thing that I hadn't seen before. Provide the roving guard with GPS tracking so that we can retrieve reports of exact time and locations upon request. They did mention that they are still working on that item. I didn't receive as of today a date as to when it would be implemented. So that item does remain deficient. And in a few moments, we can go ahead and defer to Kent and they could possibly provide an update on that. Written report of the light features on the vehicle and a written report on the substitute vehicle with the overheating. They did go ahead and provide that to us. And they did issue us a credit for all of those times that vehicle was not in use by our guard. So we did receive a credit for that. That was pretty quick. The phone or tablet device for the guards to use to capture pictures of the tags of the vehicles, that is projected to begin with a phone starting tomorrow. 11/8 was the date that we received on that. And then lastly, I just put as a reminder, the roving guard should not be parked at a stationary location. The purpose of the vehicle is for the guard to be roving continuously down the streets for the duration of the shift. And so I had a follow-up question with that. What we can do to ensure the roving guards are roving and not parked for extended periods of time. In part of their response, they did state that once we have that GPS tracker located, it will also have a live camera so that in real time, we can actually log in and see where they're going and what they're doing. And my follow-up question to that was, is that only real time, or will we be able to pull reports from, like, let's say if someone messaged me, about 2 nights ago, I saw this, I forgot to send it to you. But my question to Kent was, are we able to pull up those reports from the past as well? So hopefully these gentlemen will be able to shed some light on that as well. So that is all for the 30-day deficiency. There's a couple of items that I believe they're still working on, but there has been several corrections made for some of the other items. Do you want us to now allow them to?
Yeah, I'd like to Kent to respond to Robert, and then let's get their feedback.
On
I think
the other
most of
update.
us probably when a comment comes, will be based on something they might have said.
So Robert, the proxy system is a cell phone. So,
Same device will use to capture the tags.
right, well, it's what it has is a cell phone, has a GPS tracker in it also. And we're gonna put points around the neighborhood. As they go by, it registers on the proxy guard that they scan that point. So it's not, they're used to working with cell phones. Marcel is gonna train them. And we'll make sure that if we have to come back and do any refresher training, we don't anticipate them having a problem operating that system.
Are you using that system in any other?
Oh, yeah.
It's like texting.
Yeah.
They don't have to do much to do the incident report. If they can text, they can do the report.
Yeah.
Because it includes the date by itself, the location, the time. You just texting, you just text. It's called MME. MME is the way the system called texting. And then you just press send, it goes to everybody in my time.
So
That's how
they'll-
it works. Yes, go ahead.
Will there only be one with the roving guard, or is there one with the stationary guard that's
Proxy guard?
at the guardhouse? Correct.
No, we wouldn't use the proxy guard in the gatehouse because it's not in that movement.
So, okay, so if there's an incident at the guardhouse, like if a vehicle hits a gate, that would require an incident report. So would the guard that's in the guardhouse, would they just phone the roving guard to come and do the report?
That was
Or,
the plan, yes.
Yeah.
But we can actually, I can actually add one to the gatehouse.
you
because I was
can add
looking at-
another device?
Yes, I was looking at the phone today. I installed it already. I just have to put the license on it. And then we'll be good for both to be able to do it. The gatehouse itself have a proxy that they can scan.
I did see that. It was just like a,
Yes.
not like a
yes,
barcode, but like a, what's that?
Yes, it's
A
a
QR
barcode.
code.
It is a
QR
barcode,
yes,
yeah.
Yes, that's what it is. And for the live feed inside the vehicle, right now we have the camera, but we have internet issue. We're going to use the hotspot from the phone. We're going to test it out. Then if it works fine, then we'll be able to go back with the time to be able to see the GPS live whenever we want.
So-
Even if we don't look at it live, we can go back to it.
Okay, so you have the option to view it live as they're going, and you have the option to go back 2-3 days.
Yes, we're testing the internet now.
You're testing it to see if it's strong enough.
But there's no way.
So I have a couple of questions on that. How far back would we be able to go? I guess those are follow-up questions.
Yes, that one I do not have the answer yet, but once we test it out, we'll know for sure the limits.
So how many days can you go back in your other neighborhoods that are using the system?
No, not the GPS. We don't need the GPS.
yeah.
We use the port. The port is stay forever. And today we are
That's what the
able
tag looks like.
to try. Today we're able to try the timestamp of taking the picture to
Push
register
it
the
over, you'll see the
vehicle
timestamp.
when they coming in and coming out.
Date,
When they
time.
coming in,
Um, this is-
And does this automatically create a log where the tag number
Yes.
goes into a log and you can put up a report as well as pictures? Because I wouldn't want our officers, if there's an incident, to have to go through 80 pictures for a day to find something.
Now, this is almost like doing the logbook. One of the plans I have is to create folders inside the Dropbox. So every week we take every picture from the week and we put it in that folder. Our picture are timestamped, not only is timestamped in the picture itself, and also be timestamped in the name of the picture. So you can just go to the picture and then you look at the name, when you see the time, the date, and everything on the name of the picture.
So the software isn't intelligent enough to get the tag and convert it into text so that we can have a log, a written log.
No,
The video log.
no, it doesn't work like that. You only take the picture of the vehicle, like we're logging the vehicle on the logbook.
Mhm.
So it's almost the same thing, but the only difference is actually inside the job box.
So if we need to search a specific vehicle, we wouldn't be able to do it by tag, but we can do it by date and time of the incident.
Yes, that's why we're putting them weekly. Weekly, we'll put everything in one folder every week, and then we'll put it monthly to make it organized.
Can other people speak or can only be the HOA members at this time?
I mean, if we're going as of old business and going through old business, it wouldn't be public comments just yet.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm part of the security committee that was
And what
we're
we-
recommended to come with recommendations and have discussions, but that, I mean, we can do it at any time.
yeah, do you want to do it?
No, I just want to
do that during
respond to what's happening, because I think there's some clarity. We've been doing a little bit of research on it, but I want to follow the rules. So tell me when.
Yeah, we can go into, I mean, I'm okay with them asking any questions. I mean, this is an open forum always as a community. We've always kind of held it that way. But yeah, to your point, maybe you can try with clarity. I know software's out there that would take the
It's an
picture.
LPR,
Right.
a license, like, there is software that will take pictures and will record and it'll do the matching automatically of license date, time, entry point, all.
Yeah, it creates a log.
And it creates a log. And there's software that does that. The software will be separate than, I mean, you could use the phone, the same apparatus that they're using, but the software is the one, is the
Right,
important
the
part.
software they use through the phones, which I thought was what we were gonna have, that, you know, whether it's a tablet or phone, that when they take the picture, it automatically
automatically
processes it
pulls it.
and creates the log of it.
And it's not
which is-
Dropbox.
Right.
It-
Yeah, it isn't
I
going to
hear- I hear
Dropbox.
you say use
Dropbox, that,
That would be,
It's
you know,
messy.
that could be hacked, or usually the company that provides the software has their own cloud database that you can pull, that she can pull from, or anybody can pull from.
which honestly is why I've always been against just putting a general LPR camera, because we have security right at the gate. So why have to duplicate the efforts that we're already doing if the guard is taking a picture of each tag as they're coming in and we have our security cameras? And when we had discussed this previous contract, we were gonna have the software the minute the contract was done. We're now a year or two into it, we still don't have the software, but it was agreed upon that we were gonna have the software at the gate and that it wasn't gonna be log sheets anymore. And it was gonna be something that would take the picture and it would automatically report it so that our officers, if there was an incident, can search it. So,
No, I still think having a cell phone to take the pictures of the cars that come in we're not updating enough. I mean, we should keep a camera there recording for the security guards. What happens if it is raining or if it is too cold or whatever? They don't need to come out and take a picture of it.
well, our cameras we do have cameras that are running and there's recordings of
But
it.
those cameras are not capable of doing this.
But a security
the
guard,
time
I mean, no offense against them, rain, shine, cold, that's their job. They have to come outside and take a picture of the tag or write it down. Just like a police officer conditions. The only time when our guard gets shut down is when the town shuts down due to a hurricane, where then the gates are opened up because it's a life safety issue. But regular rain or cold, I mean, they have a roof that comes over. I mean, yes, some have to get a little bit exposed, but if the car moves up, they can do it from right at the door. 99% of the time they're standing at the door anyways.
And that is right, but since we could do an update and there are some quotes in here, I think it is better to depend less on the person whoever is there and depend more on technology. That way we're safe whenever they change it. They have a new security guard, whatever might change, we already have established norm that is not gonna change.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
there
he's.
is an item for
Um,
LPR specifically.
Right, I was just gonna say that. I think I don't think he's arguing with you. I think his point is, and we didn't know this, that Kent was supposed to have some type of reader with some type of LPR
It
system.
wasn't an LPR per se, it was just
I know, but
capturing of
a
the tags.
manual
A
of
software,
LPR.
a some
So
sort of
his
software
point
that-
is, if you're gonna have that, then why
Why add another
do I
device?
need to add, and there's other reasons why, but it has to do with the police, what they told us, and
Correct.
we can discuss that.
Yeah, it's another subject outside of Kent's responsibility. That's not something that
Exactly,
Kent is
exactly,
responsible on. That's
exactly.
that's a town thing. So yeah, because remember, we're gonna get rid of the paper log and go to a digital log. Whether it's even them typing in the tag number or was taking a picture, it was gonna go to a digital log where the guards were gonna keep a digital log that was easily searchable. Because right now, it's a log sheet that all different types of handwriting, you know, we don't know what's going in there. Sometimes you can't read it, which most of the time it's okay. But then, you know, Wayne is searching through our video cameras to go back to kind of match because we didn't have the matching of it correctly. So that was what my understanding was of a software program that we were gonna be using, not, no offense, of taking a picture and putting it in a Dropbox box. I mean, I can do that myself. There's not much intelligence to that, and from a security standpoint.
It just alleviates one step of the filing of the paper because it would be now, you know, digital opposed to saving.
Well, it's
the
not really
papers.
digital. All we're doing is like if you uploaded all the pictures in your phone to a Dropbox.
Yeah, but if you needed to search a date and time opposed to going through a box of like old sheets of paper, it's now, you know, searching a date and time. on-
Well, you wouldn't be
online.
searching a date and time. You would have to go into the Dropbox and then spread it out and go clicking to open them up.
Yeah, but if you knew the date was what I'm saying, because he said it would be by week and by month. So you'd be able to at least narrow it down that way.
And how long is that paper log being stored? Like, for example, after 30 days, that's a lot of paperwork, couple months, you guys scan them to a computer software, or like if one of you gotta do it
I
kind of
don't
research?
know how they're
How are we
archiving.
doing that? No.
Really, we've never gone farther back than 2 or 3 days when an incident occurs. There's never been a 30-day search. I don't know if you guys have a requirement on how long you save those papers for. I've never even asked, because
Yeah.
really it's,
Well,
Yeah, for public
we're not
records.
saving, the logs are in the gatehouse.
so there's
Yeah,
probably a
they're all
box
there.
of logs. in there.
The
And the
town
same
picks up
thing
the
with,
logs.
Miami, with
a
Miami
lot of
Lake
paper in
Section
there.
1, when we
Yeah.
cleaned there out, it's stacks and stacks and stacks of papers. And so what we did on this end is we gave it to the clerk's office, and then we had an intern there that was able to just scan them all, so they're all kind of digitized, but still you have to go through every page to find where everything's located.
Yeah, I think those are all great ideas. I think the problem is it's not robust.
In some.
Right, I
Yeah,
think what
yeah,
he's
right.
talking about is something a lot more robust. That, that's a software that actually is dedicated to doing that. The other problem with doing it, that other method with a Dropbox is, think of it legally, if something were to happen and now you want to use that documentation, any lawyer's gonna tell that, well, you went to the Dropbox and what's the procedure, as this is the software we use and it's out of everybody's hands, just my 2 cents to the whole situation. And if they were asked to do it, I mean, that's something that needs to be a response. And maybe they need more time to respond to, but that's
So, I mean, if that's the consensus of the board, based on the different things that we just discussed, is there a different type of software that we would be?
I'm out of the ed tech world, of the technology world. I was in it for 20 years. I know there's products out there that do it. I mean, we'll give them an opportunity. They presented an option today. I'd like for you guys to come back and maybe give them a couple extra days, a week or 2, to come back with a couple of other options as to what you guys can offer and do. That would be my recommendation, because at least they
Is
did
that a
come with
motion?
something. I mean,
Yeah,
but I would make a motion to give them, whatever time frame you guys feel as a board is a decent time frame, or how long do you guys think you need to come back with a response?
Well,
to the
I have
town?
to ask my boss if he wants to do the LPR.
Well, it's not LPR. Let's not confuse
It's
it.
a license plate reader.
Whether, or if your guards are typing in the tag number and it's now in a database where it's in there. Remember, it wasn't so much capturing a picture of the vehicles and the tags. It was a digital log
Digital,
of
yes,
all the tags that were
yes,
coming in, and we were going away from the paper base. That's what we agreed upon in our initial
right,
meeting when we discussed what we were doing.
yeah, I that's why I wanted to say, it's not an LPR. The LPR is a separate
It's a separate
issue that
system that you guys-
we're talking, exactly, it's somebody recommended it.
all right, I thought you were referring to the LPR.
No, I was saying, if you guys wanted to do it easy, if you take a picture of the tag and it transcribes it and puts it into a digital log, that's up to you on how you want to capture it. We just wanted to have a digital
Well,
log
okay.
of all it.
You'll see what's right.
Yeah, you're probably better off going with the standard security software, which is for log sheet keeping.
so we do have a motion on the table. I think it needs a second before more discussion. Is there someone that would like to second his motion?
We didn't put a time frame on it, so I guess we'll give them 15 days, 15 business days to come back with a response as to what they can offer.
Yeah.
Okay. You respond to Christine on that?
In a second.
No problem.
All right, great, second.
Seconded, okay. So any other discussion on that? 15 days?
Question of clarification. Are you talking about like an Excel spreadsheet kind of?
Well, we would be able to get an Excel spreadsheet and
Okay, that's
export from it,
That's what
and then it
I'm.
would have date, time, tag, vehicle description.
Mm.
And then it would be more in a spreadsheet format rather than, boxes of paper inside of an office.
Thank you.
And that way, if something were to occur in the neighborhood, our police officers can just ask for an export of everything car that came in, and now they have a clear, and because sometimes you get 3 letters for a tag. So now you can search your spreadsheet for 3 letters, and now it gives you all the cars that came in that matched those 3 letters in there. Where right now, we're going through 85 papers trying to find that match
Right.
in there. If it's illegible.
Is the motion called?
There's a motion, there's a second.
Second.
Like to-
Discussion.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that motion passes.
I will say that the car looks much better. So thank you for providing our guards with, a drivable vehicle. It's honestly embarrassing to see the other vehicle driving around, how beat up it was. So the car that's now, in my opinion, looks great, and is sufficient for my likings. So
They've actually been very responsive in keeping me in the loop of when, oh, it's out for service, it'll be back by 4 PM. And it was back by, I think it was just before 2, which is great with timing, and that's definitely better with communication. So I believe landscape and lighting. So as far as the landscape goes, I know that you guys, just towards the end of last fiscal year, they did go ahead and correct the water issue because it was on one watering timer, which flowers need a lot more water than the hedges on the back of the sign need. So they did go ahead and split that up. So it's more watering for the front, less for the back, so that's not too much watering. But over time, the damage is done. And we know that there's a new company that is now servicing this contract. And so they have several different options. One option would be if we would like to just remove just the dead plants that are hedges and then replace them with newer ones of the same likeness. The only difference with that would be is that you would really be able to tell the difference between the new ones that they just planted versus the other ones that are old. So the recommendation from our superintendent is that we just remove all of the old ones and start fresh with new shrubs back there. And the cost will be around a little less, around $1,000 to take out all the old and install new plants that are all the same height. Or we can just take out just the specific dead ones and add in place where those ones would be. So that's an option for landscaping.
through the chair to Paul
Yeah,
Property, why are we responsible for that? The previous vendor let them rot and let that happen after we sent multiple notifications and nothing was ever done. I mean, it was to the point where weeds were almost 2 feet high above them. I don't think we should be handling that. And I think the town needs to take legal action and small claims court or wherever it is to go after that previous vendor to take care of that problem. I mean, why are we, the taxpayers, going to carry the burden of a company that didn't fulfill on the job that they were supposed to do?
Right, I can bring that back and provide a follow-up for that.
If everybody else is in agreement.
No, absolutely.
And to spend $1,000 in shrubs, I just went out and bought a lot of shrubs for my house and my mulch, and I
It
didn't
would
spend
include
$1,000.
installation too,
Yeah.
though, but I get it. That's fine. I can-
We backtrack for a minute. I'm not sure how your invitation was to them, but it looks like you're getting ready to leave, so I want to
Did
make
you
sure.
want to
Yeah.
did you want to speak in public comments, or did you want to make any
No,
other?
I know what they're looking for. I know exactly what it is.
And then we talked about that body cam, and you're coming back with a price.
Correct. I did ask, it's not part of our current contract for them
Okay.
to, it's not a requirement for them to wear body cameras, but I did ask that to Jerry and see if it was a possibility. He did say he would look into it.
Okay, can that be responded to in the 15 days with the other? Whether
Yes.
that could be accommodated,
sure.
yes or no,
And if
but,
there's a
yes,
price
yes.
associated with adding that,
okay.
I wasn't here, but was that, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What's the purpose of the body cam? on the
Well, we
cars?
just thought it would capture that person coming through the gate.
So we want the bodyguard to, but the guard's not going up to the driver. I guess that from 11 o'clock to 6 in the morning is when you really want to capture
Yeah, you've got a camera on,
it. Okay.
how effective, I
Yeah.
suppose it depends on how bold the person is coming in.
Yeah, just from a legal aspect, I'm not the attorney, you're the attorney. I mean, you're now going into, you're pointing into somebody's car and recording them
Right,
inside their
I mean,
vehicle.
we'll be
I don't know if that's
advised of that.
legal.
I don't know, they'll tell us.
Yeah.
That's the way I
Public
see it.
property.
Yeah.
They're not, they're not trying
So they can be
to.
recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
What
I wasn't
would you
sure
advise?
from a legal standpoint.
I mean, go ahead.
I don't know if I can talk.
yes, they.
Okay,
You
all
want to
right.
finish before-
So before they go, I think there's a little bit more with the security company and stuff like that. I think there were a lot of gross, in my opinion, or the opinion of the security committee, there was a lot of negligence and gross work on part of the guards not doing their job. And that being that they're allowing cars to come in. I mean, their job is, it's not difficult, but it requires several steps and things that they have to do. Number one is that they're supposed to be a guard to the entrance, not deny entry, but they're supposed to allow cars that have the sticker on, free access without any challenge. And then cars that do not have that, they have to stop those vehicles. I don't know the full procedure, if it's to take a picture, ask them where they're going, or how can I help you? But we know for a fact, and I think there's a lot of documentation from all the residents that that's not happening. It's gotten better, and I have to say it has gotten better, but it just does not happen. And I know it because I have family members that I go with them in their car, and we're just going at night, and they just can't. It's not that they recognize me, and some guards are worse than others, and I feel for them, but that has to be corrected. Guards taking breaks outside, taking the car and going to the parking lot and staying there for extended periods of times. There's a lot of issues that have to be corrected. And our recommendation, we have, I don't want to go through recommendations now unless now is the right time. But if those things do not get corrected, our recommendation would be that you have to find a new security company or somebody that's going to respond. That has to be corrected. There is no place for that. Sleeping on the job, that no GPS is going to fix that. They don't all do it. Okay, so that has to be clear. They have one bad apple can ruin the bunch. So I don't want to make it an attack on the company, but those items have to be corrected. And I thought that they were going to come here and explain what training, what procedures they're going to do, not just get up and leave and think that everything is okay because I'm going to have some software or no software. I think that the security issues I can be significant if they don't take care of them.
Now, I've reported many of these in my time through all my history, and this goes back to when I lived in Royal Oaks and then in Loch Lomond. So I'll tell you, it's not new to any security company because of the turnover in guards, and we've seen it. There's so many new faces in our neighborhood. All the guards that we had are gone, and even the ones that we've had from the beginning. No offense, but Destin, after he left for his helmet, when he came back, he hasn't been the same person.
Right.
And I have compassion and sympathy for everybody, but yes, we have continuous problems. But I think the most important thing for that is residents have to report it, because without having it reported, we have no way to control it from the town. And then we can't hold them accountable. So what I always try to do is notify with as much time as possible. And I don't do it all the time because honestly, I have a million things going on in my life. And sometimes I'm just frustrated and I just go to my house and it is what it is. Sometimes I'm walking my dog. I live at the 2 houses away. So I'm always in front of the gate. I walk my dog twice a day in front of the gate. So I'm seeing what's going on there. And yes, there's, I'd say at least 20 to 30% of the time on a weekly basis that I'll go by and they're not taking tags. And cars are just flying through. But I'll see it's a different guard. It's a guard that wasn't there. And sometimes it's even a guard that's there that just kind of walks up and down and leaves the gate open for a few minutes. But it's going to be hard for the town to hold them accountable and enforce the contract. We have a contract.
Right, and I have one for that, okay, right? And that's what we found. And again, I want to make sure that I'm trying to be more analytical. Some things might sound critical. We're not pointing a finger at one person or any individual. I think we get laxed, right? Things happen and whatever, but they really do need to be, I think a lot of it is on the town because you guys control the contract. I can't call Kent. They won't listen to me and they shouldn't because they're not contractually obligated to talk to me, but they are contractually obligated to talk to you. So the solution is there has to be an audit. I don't know what time the audit is, but I think they need to know that you or your representative or us, I could be a deputy for you or what have you, but that they're going to be audited. And that has to be put in whatever contract you have with them, that if they fail, they need to know what the consequence is for that. And I think that's the number one way of solving that problem because look, it can't be our responsibility. I don't know enough and I'm not there all the time. You're not there all the time either. So we have to help you. But I think they need to have a methodology, a measured way of when they make a mistake and how fast the correction is going to be and that they're going to get audited. And there'll be a checklist on that audit. And then when they're not following that audit, the consequences A, B, C, or D, and eventually getting kicked off the contract and put on the Miami Lakes. Don't use these guys anymore. Again, I have empathy for them because it's hard to get employees and stuff like that, but that's the number one recommendation.
But just to help you with that one, that is built into our contracts because it's their performance based. So if we have enough reports of our audit, because we don't need to add that to their contract. It's already on there. They have to hit certain requirements. If they have 10 reports of guards not doing their job, the town's gonna hold them responsible for it. What we need to do is either as residents or the town, and honestly, I don't get paid to do this job. The town gets paid to do this job. They need to have somebody that goes by and snap you because you're only one
It
person.
is, I do go by.
No, but I'm saying like sporadic,
Yeah.
just to keep an eye on it because you're not here every day and it's on Saturdays and Sundays and whether it's a maintenance
Right,
person.
but
or
I
somebody-
think that's the key word. I don't think it needs to be sporadic. I think she needs some formulation that an official, hey, on the first 15th, there's going to be an audit. And if I get more than 5 of these coming up, this is what's coming down on you guys. And I think it has to be more official than, I think it's been too sporadic. And I think what happens sporadic is a year from now, I move or he moves and things, you're not leaving a legacy behind to really fortify this thing. And I think if you put it on paper and you tell them, this is what you guys got to do, and they're going to either take it seriously or not take it seriously, and that's fine. There are plenty of security companies that will do the job. I think the same problem will happen with another security company, right? But we have to, the town has to rein on them with audits.
Absolutely. And so that is part of what we do. We do conduct QAPs. The only thing with a scheduled audit is we can say, all right, I'm gonna be there on Monday at 5 o'clock. And what's gonna happen at Monday at 5 o'clock? They're gonna have everything in order. I prefer to do them unscheduled because it's random. They don't know when I'm coming. So I'm gonna get more of a feel for what's actually happening on a day-to-day. Whenever there are deficiencies during my QAPs, I do send them to them. And it'll either merit a fine, a major fine or a minor fine. And those are different things that we have been getting them on. We've been getting credits for the different deficiencies that we do have on the contract. For instance, not having the vehicle working. We're not gonna pay for a car that wasn't working. We pay $2.50 an hour for that. So we definitely got the credit for those different 3 days that the car was not moving because it was not working. It was overheating, whatever the issues were. So we are doing that on our end. If you want, just take a look at the budget really quick. Just to provide a little bit of insight. If you look at,
The year I saw a credit was the pandemic year 20, right? I guess that's when the budget actually went down.
this budget is the approved budget for fiscal year 23. So it started October 1, it'll go through September 31st for this approved budget. So if you take a look there, the percentage that is paid to me directly for managing the budget and everything is $6,610. So that's the same for the other 6 guardhouses that I manage as well. So just keep that in mind. It's not like a 24-hour service. I do dedicate several hours to, each guardhouse, each day, and each, throughout each week. It does take up, I would say, 90% of my time. Okay, just putting that out there. It's not like one dedicated staff only for this guardhouse. In
You have all
terms
the
of
special
managing it.
taxing districts.
All the special taxing district, emergency management, now with the hurricane coming, crossing guards, there's several other, items under there.
Which is why I said you can't do it by yourself to go all the guard.
Correct. So it does help when during the odd hours of, at 11 o'clock at night or whenever you happen to be walking your dog, it definitely helps to receive just a quick note. And it's not your job. The onus is not only on you, but I think 115 eyes are better than one set of eyes as
Absolutely.
well. So it definitely is helpful when I get messages from the residents. I saw the car sitting here for 30 minutes. Absolutely. I hit them immediately, and I'm requesting a report. What's the update? Oh, there was changeover. They were talking to each other to discuss what was happening. And so we definitely do a lot of that communicating back and forth as soon as I get stuff.
But one thing that from several members of the committee, they've stated that they have not received responses back.
You can tell me one and
Christopher.
I will look for it right now in my
Yeah,
email.
I
Maybe I'm
have
contacting the wrong person or.
I have them here. I can show them to you. He gave me a list of 3 emails that went unanswered. I had one that wasn't unanswered. you know, maybe
You're saying I answered you?
did not answer.
Okay,
But in this case, were incidences that were, again, the purpose here is not it's not an attack or anything.
no, but it'll help to clarify for sure.
Exactly. We need to clarify that because here we're hearing you say, and a lot of people took that message back and they started sending complaints and.
I
a lot-
received only one, so my guess is maybe someone has an incorrect email, because I received yours, you requested the post orders on the
Right, but
7th, and I responded,
You responded after the major spoke to you because he told me he was after I told him, and it was in response to what I was asking for, and then hey, I think you're asking for this, you were talking to. the
yeah, he
major.
told me to reach out. He said you were
Right.
asking something about help yards. You reached out on Friday
Now,
after
mine is not,
5:30.
I'm not the one complaining about the non-response. The non-response was Christopher.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I gotta.
Oh,
leave.
that's
All right.
true. There's another meeting at
So-
7, but I still would like to,
Okay.
Yeah.
we'll get there
Sorry
after.
about
We'll
that.
get there after. That's fine.
Can I just add to what was said here and why Kent is here? The LPR, I guess it's license plate reader or whatever. These are all after the fact, after there's a robbery or a break-in or an assault. Having a license plate is for the investigation afterwards. What I'm more concerned is the prevention of these things happening. And that comes with the guards. Now, guards aren't cops, and I don't expect them to stop them. But they're to observe and to report to the police if necessary. So it's very important that the guards are patrolling, that they're not sleeping in the cul-de-sac at the end of Turnberry, which I've seen, usually the same guy. They're all very polite and very nice, but they're getting away with a lot of stuff. And then recently, a week or so ago, there was, and I put this on, I'm Roger Gorin, I'm also on the safety committee. There was reports of shots fired near the gatehouse, that there were 2 shots. It turned out that it might have just been a misfire. But I was out and it came up and I was coming in, it was around 11:30, I believe. And there was a guard at the gate. And I was a passenger with friends of ours that were driving. And I asked the guard, I said, do you know anything about a report of shots being fired? And she said, okay. And I said, was there shots being fired? Were there police? Was anything happen? Okay. I said, are you understanding what I'm saying? She said, okay. I was flabbergasted.
Well, that's the problem that I have with regards to any technology that we're expecting the guards to run.
Now, if you're in your home and you're observing somebody breaking in and you call the guardhouse and you say there's somebody breaking into the house across the street and they answer, okay, we're in trouble. We're in
There's a
trouble.
language
And that's,
barrier.
if it's a language barrier, look, the guards are all nice, I understand, but they need to understand English.
Yeah, and we have a solution for that too, but that one's something that's gonna cost a lot of money. And that is from the hours of 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning, remove one of the guards, the patrolling guard, and replace it with a police officer from the city. But that's a recommendation, but that has to be, vetted
Yeah,
out,
budget.
and budgeted and thought about. But that'll solve, you'll get more.
Can't afford that.
Yeah, it's gonna
No, we
be.
just need someone that speaks.
And you don't
the
really-
language, that
honestly, you don't-
understands, that could then call.
Yeah, and
the
the
police.
thing is that the guard gate and, these guards love them to death, but they don't know English. They don't speak English. And I'm nobody speakers. I come from a Hispanic family and I have a lot of family members that don't speak the language and I see them. And I'll tell you, in Royal Oaks, my mom lives there. They have a separate issue. Here we have Haitians, which I love them. They're great people. In Royal Oaks, they're using Hispanics. They don't know English either. So you go and you ask them something at the gate and they go, okay, the same.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we deal with it. And it might be having to pay a little bit more for a contract to have individuals that, are retired military, that speak English, that have gone through training.
I believe that's actually a requirement.
Oh, it is?
It's their
Okay.
contract,
So I wasn't sure if
It's
it
like
is.
165 pages. I'll find it
Okay.
and we'll go
Okay.
ahead and circle back to
All
what I
right,
brought.
so
But I could've-
that's why I threw out the technology question on what's training, what's going on, and that needs to, because we can't just accuse them of something. There has to be proof proof of what's going on, they have to show that they can hit certain parameters. But part of the problem is ownership in their job, but we're seeing this across all of our country where nobody cares about their job anymore.
Absolutely.
Nobody has ownership. These guards don't have ownership in their, they don't have pride in it. And I'll tell you, I'll say it again, Destin used to have pride in his job. He's lost his pride in his job too. He doesn't have the pride that he has. He used to watch every door. He doesn't have that anymore. He would call Wayne, he would call me, he was top of my house. Hey, I saw there's a different car in front of this house and it's not there anymore. The guards don't do it. I don't know if maybe they're underappreciated and maybe they feel that the company's not appreciating them, but, and that, I'm not saying that they'll hit you guys on anything. It's happening all across our industries. So there's no ownership from these guards. How do we bring the ownership back? I don't know. And I'll tell you, but with the police officer, we see with police officers too. We're gonna pay a police officer very good money and they're gonna park in the back corner of the neighborhood and they're just gonna sit there with their lights on and maybe in a once in a while they drive around. I don't know if that's a solve, but I mean, it's a good option to have. I think I would love to join you guys in the security committee and help out in any way that I can. I need to leave in 5 minutes, so I don't know if there's anything else that we need to vote on tonight. And I appreciate you guys. looking into
Look,
this.
that's a recommendation that has to be something that has to be voted on. It's not like a decree
No,
or
there's,
anything.
and there's
like that.
municipalities that put the cop at the gate. And the police officer is the one that's actually taking the tag from 11 PM to 6 AM. And now you have a police car parked at the entrance of the gate. And they're the ones that are literally riding the tag at night. And now you have a police officer saying, where are you going? And then you can have a rolling guard or have no guard inside at that point. And now the police officer is vetting everybody that's driving in at night. Those are options that are available there.
Again, my point was prevention is more important than finding out
cameras.
where's the car or who took the car or what time
An
did
ounce
it
of
go out.
prevention is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really what the guards need to do, is do what they can to prevent, and not so much to investigate
Right.
afterwards.
You'll be able to look into this situation with,
No, just that, you know, you can call us. We rely on people calling us. Because you go and you live here, you go through it every single day. And it might be something that we missed, and if you call us and say, you know, you have a guard here at such a time. If they tell me that they didn't write the tag down, I go to the gatehouse, pull the log, I get the tag number, and I run it down to see if the tag is on there. So we just don't go, okay, you got carte blanche. If we know about it, Marcel writes them up, we give them another shot at it and tell them, if we have to do this with you again, we're gonna have to let you go. But this is the first I've heard about the thing with shots being fired. And you can
but also
remember the
lack
date
of
and everything.
communication though, too. We had a communication issue. I mean, I guess the. big
Well, I
thing
mean,
is
but that's what I'm saying,
involvement.
that's because that guy should actually be removed. That's, I'm not, you know, I know people need jobs, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you really can't have that. You have to be able to respond and you have to be able to communicate with somebody. So, I mean, I'm all for that and I don't want people to think, well, why am I doing your job? I'm not asking you to do my job. I mean, I was in a job where we relied on public response and input as to how the officers that I had out there were working and how they were doing. So it is, believe me, please, if you see something and you think it's egregious, call us. Because we're gonna look into it, and if it needs to be, there'll be discipline and up to, you know, suspension and firing. And we do that a lot. I mean, not a lot, but we do it enough times. That, you know, we hope that if we punish one, we teach 100. So sometimes that doesn't always work, but basically that's why we do rely on citizen contacts. So don't feel like if you call my company, they're gonna give you either him or I. One of the two, and they're gonna give us a number to contact and call you back, which is what we're gonna do. We're gonna call you back. And you explain to me what happened and everything, and then we'll tell you that either Marcel or myself go out, we look into what the guard, I have to give him or her an opportunity to respond, which do that. And then I'll go back and say, here's what we decided. I think the guard was wrong and we're writing the guard up. So we just don't, I don't want to get the wrong impression here that, you know, they're driving through there, they do whatever they want. We just sitting around going, okay, I hope they're doing a good job. I mean, so
We don't know what your training is for these people before you actually put them in uniform and sign them. And I guess that's one
Well,
of the points that we don't
actually,
know.
we do that. We have a whole onboarding process and recruitment process.
I
Where
would
we have to do a
assume
little
so.
test and we look for the language and
Well, I'll tell you, when I see them, a lot of them have their shirts out, hats to the side. They just don't look like they're engaged in the job they're doing. That's a hard look. I have employees too. I know how it goes, but it's making her job, my job, everybody's job harder.
Sporadic to consistent.
Yes, exactly.
That's the only concern. It used to be a sporadic issue with guards that would come in just to fill in gaps that you guys would have. If people calling sick and sometimes you gotta pull somebody from somewhere and put them there, to now being more consistent. I think it's because we've lost so many consistent guards and now we've gone into the rotation.
well, believe it or not, we still have over 4 guys that got over 15 years at that day.
I think it's 3 or 4 of them. There, 2 or 3 females and 1 male.
4 is 4 right now.
23, 21, and the male is
And been there over 15 years, and Justin's been there 20 years. Now, maybe they're in a comfort zone, but even still, they can be written up too. I mean, but most of those people that are there, those people there were the original ones that we were told we had to take. So,
Well, the goal is not to have write-ups. The goal is to have
no, the goal is to change their behavior.
results and good things to say about, man, this guard did a great job. That's the goal.
Yeah, the goal is,
Would you like us to schedule to meet in 2 days? Like,
The guard.
That's probably best.
like probably
I mean, I'll be
Thanksgiving
completely honest. I had sent her an email that I was gonna be resigning tonight because I have so much going on.
I was surprised to see you,
But
but I
I'm
was
not, I'm not gonna leave Patrick nor the community hanging.
so
So
in answer to your response, then, our goal is not to write them. I'm not interested in write-ups. I'm interested in changing the behavior.
Right.
It's not a personal write-up. We're not attacking you personally. We're attacking what you
if
did,
you could meet. We
okay?
can discuss it.
So you have to
We can do
change
that.
what
We
you
can
did.
wrap this meeting up and then you and I.
yeah, the security committee, I think is an HOA thing, that they're gonna come back to recommendations of HOA and then we can do this.
That's great. That's a little bit more
Yeah.
streamlined. That makes sense.
All right, so that's-
Yeah, I like that
do we have
idea.
anything else on the agenda?
Yeah.
No?
We didn't really get to discuss the detail. I mean, you have the LPR codes that we received, so you can mull those over a little bit.
My opinion, LPRs, I think we need to fix this problem before we start adding other technologies, because then it's gonna be a scapegoat on fixing the
The
problem.
thing with the LPR was the police,
Right.
the
But we
police.
already have a ton, I mean, no offense, but we already have LPRs all around town that are capturing tags.
Right, so, and the problem with
So we'll discuss, I'm sorry, we didn't really go into the LPR. It's a new business item. We didn't go into it right now. We don't have a chance to start it. There's the next meeting is literally they're waiting outside.
I guess we'll continue.
So we want to meet in about 15 days, the 20, I mean,
But we won't have time to meet with the HOA in 15 days.
so meet with the you want to meet with the HOA in
No,
15
let's make it
days?
for December, maybe the first week of December.
First, yes, I have a couple of meetings scheduled for the first 2 weeks around that time, so I'll go ahead and send you an email.
You got a couple minutes.
Yeah, we'll go do that right after this meeting, and it's out there. so that
Yeah,
they
and then
can
get
sign
to us
it.
with the date.
Motion to adjourn,
Yes.
all those in favor, second,
Second,
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, okay, motion adjourned. And then I also
Thank
like
you,
to see you after about.
I'll wait.
Yeah,
I'll stay,
but out there because
and I promise to stay through the end of the year at least.
Thank you, that's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That'll be super, super helpful.
Very good.
I did, I responded, I sent you an email.
Yeah, I received it as
He
well.
responded to it, so I responded to you today.
We'll see it. It's not on hold. We'll see.
What those? They know how to reach me.
Do you want this?
I'm the second house,
Alright.
I'm the second house on the right hand
Or
side.
budget?
Thank you. If anybody has experience, thanks. If anybody has experience with the guard gate, it's me. She gets a lot of my emails and messages.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Do something and then
Yeah, we're gonna
I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, we'll do it right out there right now. I just want to make sure everybody else is correct.
Trying to keep up.
We can get out, okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't have little papers. Do you mind just putting those in this recycling bin for me? Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
I'll send you, I'll put you in
And I saw some of the notes that I recorded. Amazing on whoever put it together. There's a lot of information.
You guys, we
Prioritize.
The recommendation, no, regulations, remember, regulations.
Find out the information.
You work by the director. How we doing? You guys want me up? Perfect.
And look, at the end of the day, we're not trying to get better, for our community and
And we're coming in.
Yeah, good.
Yep. That's the
Okay,
audio.
all right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 7:11 PM. We don't have a secretary. Would you like to do the honors and call the roll?
I don't have the roster on me. What we'll do is we'll call those in attendance and then I will mark off those who aren't at a later time. So we have Chair Helen Rodan,
Present.
Marcos Gutierrez, Dave Oliver,
Bingo.
Jim Hamilton,
Present.
and Roman Garcia.
Woo, welcome back, Roman.
So we have quorum, so the meeting is yours.
Awesome. Okay, moving on. Any additions or subtractions to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item 4, old business. Did everyone get a chance to review the meeting minutes? Do I have a motion to approve?
Cool. I have a motion, a second.
Second.
All right, any discussion, any concerns? All right, you can
Okay,
call it to a vote.
I'll call it to a vote.
All those in favor?
All those in
Aye.
favor?
All right, seeing any opposed, none, motion passes. I'll adopt the minutes from August 30th.
Okay, old business for B, sponsor update.
So on our end, we have had contacts already with both the Grams and with Ocean Bank. Both have confirmed a gold status sponsorship, which is what they provided last year, $1,000 each. We are waiting, they did request a document just so they can, on their end, I'm sure for auditing reasons, they needed something that shows that we're requesting the money so that they can go ahead and put it up. So this is our sponsorship information. We'll send to all of them. You can just take a look and then pass it around. But essentially, this is what they'll use to back their request on their end. That's $2,000 extra on top of the $1,000 that we already have. That's a guaranteed 3. We haven't finalized, but we also don't foresee any issues with our title sponsor at 1,500. Yeah. New World last year said there's no reason why they wouldn't be continuing.
No, they've had a much better year this year anyway, so that's fine.
So that's another 1,500, it's putting us at 4,500. There may be another donor for $500 at the bronze level, or is it silver level? I'm sorry. At the silver level, correct.
Perfect. Where does that put us?
4,500, 4,500 in money that we can work with. I just got the quote actually now. With Manny being out this weekend, we get to follow up.
Plus, I
It's still
think,
out.
but I think the money we had left over. we
You've already purchased,
allocated it.
so you've already purchased plaques.
Right,
So your plaque is already
It's
taken
covered.
care of.
right.
So looking at last year, plaques taken care of. So last year, your total was 1,300 for the round tables, high boys, lights, linens, and stage skirting, because we ended up bringing our stage on there, and it was 1,300 just in that event. And then Fiesta Carousel said they just emailed me. Let me see if I get this up.
Is that the same company?
Same vendor as last year.
Okay.
I might have to open up that app again. I asked them for updated pricing about 20 minutes ago. So
Okay.
they told me they can turn it around. There it is, just came in. Let's hope it's not 32% increase like we've seen in other. It's open there. My only, and I mean, we'll stick on sponsors and we'll get the ceremony deals, I guess we'll talk about that, but. Well, an auction?
Yeah.
Let me see what it says.
Any kind of auction item?
Oh, that's just basically, if, rather than saying any kind of donation, it can be anything that you want to give away or something of that nature, but it's not an auction.
How about say, huh?
No. If not, we'd have to call you for the auctioning, emceeing.
Yeah, okay.
So it looks like he's able to maintain his pricing.
Wow.
It's just, we're talking $40 over last year.
Okay.
So he's able to keep it at 1,300.
That's entirely-
Yeah, and I think jog my memory, I think what we did, so he could.
He
put
gives
his
us a
name-
discount. Yeah,
Right,
there's a
because
discount
to
out
put
there.
his name out
So
there.
he would, under what he currently shows as his additional discount, he would be, let me make sure there's nothing I missing.
Yeah, and then we just promote his name, yeah.
It goes
He
to
would,
silver.
he would go as, no, right now, actually, he would go under the in-kind donor portion,
Okay, he's under 500.
yeah,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I think we
And-
put him
and
on
I'm
the program
sure
last year.
He's already probably, to keep that price already, it's already doing well, plus it's throwing a discount on top of it, so he would fall, he would still be under one of our donors.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to talk about, obviously, the ceremony details what's under new business, but we need to make sure that we're living up to everything that we promised sponsors.
And that's where I wanted to make sure that that was listed, so you see everything that we pushed out to our sponsors. We removed some things that weren't as feasible and were becoming difficult. And even on our end, we couldn't get some of the sponsors to even give us a time to go to their location.
We did one last year.
And even that was, how many times did it take us to schedule with them? I think it took us 3 or 4 attempts.
To my knowledge,
Well, I mean, I only come to you once it's finalized. So,
yeah,
But yeah,
to my knowledge,
we
it
had
was, you
dates.
told me date, time, and I showed up with Ryan.
we had dates that on there and they kept pushing it back.
I mean,
So,
even when we showed up, I mean, it was like nobody from the company was there, so that was New World. That was actually our title sponsor.
so we made sure we put things that are deliverable, and still hold
Maybe we
value
should
to
go
them.
over that.
Yeah, if you want. So I'll go through all those while we're still on sponsors. So benefits that we list as a partner is gonna be actively engaging with the local community, building brand identity with your local customers, being recognized as a socially responsible organization, promoting your products and services to a new audience, having the opportunity to make a difference. All right, title sponsor, logo to remain at the Hall of Fame for 1 year, full rights of refusal for the following year. Admission for up to 6, and early entry to the VIP cocktail and unveiling of the Hall of Fame inductees. Welcome remarks at event, so if they get the option to speak if they want to. Logo inclusion in event press release and Eventbrite page. Opportunity to display company banner and distribute marketing materials to attendees. Acknowledgement throughout the event. Opportunity to announce sponsorship at a town council meeting. Logo recognition and program and all social media recap posts.
Okay. So that's more on the town side. Anything like the committee would need to do, we just have to make sure you guys.
Yeah,
When
we'll
you
do all on
say-
our end.
When you say admission, this is a free admission thing, but this is prior to the event,
Correct, for the cocktail, the public is not
okay,
invited.
which is an hour before.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Our Eventbrite goes out for 7, and then we'll do the cocktail hour at 6.
At 6, okay, got it.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Any comments? Any additional comments on sponsors?
Well, we had in kind from another vendor last year.
Last year, we had Vicky Bakery.
Right.
That's something that
Vicky Bakery,
Willie
yeah.
was able to handle, Willie no longer with the town, so.
Vicky, what do you need?
That was
from
you,
me?
right?
That was me.
Yeah.
Oh, was you?
What do you need?
Oh,
from
I'm
Vicky?
sorry.
Pedro and Amy will always.
I remember.
Yeah,
you.
Amy
Amy-
will always answer.
So last year,
They
Just-
did appetizers and they did
and
desserts.
desserts, I can tell you exactly how much it was. 125 appetizers and 125 desserts.
Okay. You think they'd be interested again this year?
I don't see why.
I
they
don't see why
sponsored
not,
other events.
but I'll reach out to Amy tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much. Okay, any other comments for sponsors?
Oh, and I'll go through gold real quick
Okay.
and then silver. So gold is gonna get 4 tickets to the VIP and unveiling. Remember also the unveiling portion, the actual unveiling is limited only because they don't have space. Anybody else attending comes in after the fact. So they'll get 4 admissions, logo inclusion on press release, Eventbrite page. They can display their banner and distribute marketing material to the attendees, acknowledgement throughout the event, and then local recognition. Silver sponsor, admission for 2 to the VIP cocktail, logo inclusion on Eventbrite, and all press releases, opportunity to distribute on site, acknowledgement throughout the event, and recognition of the program, no banner at that point. So banner is only title and gold sponsor. And then in kind, just anything they bring up, they'll basically be logo recognition in all event collateral, and then MC to acknowledge them throughout the event.
Okay, got it. So that's the one thing that
For-
committee we need to do.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
Who's gonna MC?
Is
I
that
look-
usually that's us?
That's typically been
Okay.
a function.
You got done in the last 5 years.
First year, it
Was
wasn't
Manny.
really MCing,
No, it was Manny.
yeah, it really wasn't MCing. I handed over to the mayor, and then in between, the mayor just kept going.
Yeah, Manny's gotta get forward there. Do you,
I've done it the last 4 years.
have we been able to contact, because I remember one of the comments we made was that we really want to see a little more participation from the council, right? Of who's, if we can get, see if the RSVP
Well, that,
Yeah, man.
I would feel more confident telling you on Wednesday,
on Wednesday.
because there'll be new council members. There'll be
Okay.
one guaranteed new council
So
member.
if you, would you be able to let us know so then that way
Yeah.
we know, because
Just keep in mind, anything really like 2 weeks ahead of time, it's not 100% guaranteed.
right.
Okay.
But this has been on the calendar already.
Is that football game that same date? Because I know that's the reason Manny can't attend.
Which football game?
When
Flag
they-
football,
They have that football,
we're rolling.
No, flag
No.
football night is the week before this year.
Yeah, December
Okay,
3rd.
so that's.
okay, so Manny should be able to.
Yeah,
Manny's
and
not
then-
coaching.
And then finals are,
Yeah, so
and
he's
then
not
finals are on
coaching.
Sunday.
No, finals are the 17th.
Okay,
Playoffs are the 17th.
So he should be able to attend, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
and they're not,
Lewis-
so they're not,
but at least we can,
he's not coaching.
He's not coaching this year.
okay, great.
Okay, all right, so I mean, I think that pushes us on to new business, ceremony details. Okay, so with that, do you have a list of everything else, like food? We
Yeah.
haven't reached out to the vendor yet, correct?
So we haven't reached out to the vendor just yet.
Got more money this
We
year.
have more money.
Yeah.
So, 10 lighting, 1,500, just total what we had budget at one point, came in less. Last year food was 710 plus tip, I believe it came out to 770, 780. We also had allocated 300 for wine, soda, water. We got the polos last year. That's another item,
I think
For
we-
the people that we're honoring, correct?
Correct.
correct.
I think we also need to make, there are members of the committee now that don't have polos.
Correct.
And well, again, in the past, we paid for them, so I don't know, I think we had discussed it in the past that if we had money left over, we would get them for,
I agree. I mean, I think we can make a motion for that.
Yeah, I would say go through the entire budget, and then if you see it available, I don't think there's much other, the only thing else. So then the polos, and that was 5 inductee polos was 230, we have 4 inductees this year. Has polo pricing, gym changed?
Not much.
Okay, so I mean,
Okay.
If
Are we
you
still
keep
able
it-
to do it?
I already got the poles in.
yeah,
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
yeah, so
I got their sizes in order. because
Awesome.
they're
Even if
annual.
you-
Thank you.
even if you budget at 230, it's
Yeah.
4 inductees, you should still be within them.
Yeah.
that price.
We have extra money. Do we want to add more stuff this year? What do you guys think?
I know another thing we had discussed last year
Mhm.
was going backwards on the polos for the members that had been inducted in previous classes. And giving them something that shows Miami Lakes Sports Hall of Fame, because obviously, yeah, they got the plaque, but the first 4 classes is our 5th.
Was last year the first class I got
Yes.
followed?
Yes.
Okay.
So the first 3 classes prior to that didn't get anything.
Do we want to incentivize coming back to the event? Those who RSVP that they'll be back, we can guarantee.
That's gonna be tough for someone like a Joel Rodriguez,
Because their schedules.
who's now coaching in Ohio at Akron. I mean, his dad will show up. I'm pretty sure his dad will show up because his dad usually comes in his
Well,
place.
That works out. It's
you know.
having, I guess, the presence, right, of the
Yeah.
family.
I know Javi Zapata will be here. If I'll talk to him this weekend, when I see him this weekend, hopefully weather permitting. I'll bring it up to him and let him know, that, let him know the date that we're good for this, if we're gonna lock it in for the 10th, and then. I mean, again, I think we're pretty much ahead of the ballgame after having discussions. Let me finish, Jeremy, don't give me a look like that.
I'll be completely honest, I'm a little worried with the timeline.
I mean, again, if the plaques are ordered, that means wording is done. Correct?
Wording is the last thing that has to be added to it. But the plaques are already there. It's
Okay.
just the wording to be added.
That, depending on who's gonna write it, can be done in an hour.
So you're saying when we finish this at 8, you can have it to me by 9?
Oh, I'm writing it?
I'm just saying.
No, I mean,
that-
again,
that's-
that's an hour thing. Because again, what we've always put on the plaques is basically what we've gone to council with.
Correct.
It's basically just editing that a little bit and trimming it to make sure it fits in that 90-word, 100-word
Sweet spot.
sweet spot, which is where we've always been on the plaques. I mean, as long as you get the food guy Kate locked in, the wine and soda is, the town has to buy it, or whoever, from the committee or whatever.
No,
however we
yeah,
do it.
it comes out of here.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just buying it. I mean, what else besides publicizing,
Well, the
Is there-
publicizing is really just,
That's the biggest thing. bro.
but my only concern and hesitation is publicizing and making sure that, like Helen brought up earlier, that we're giving sufficient time for our sponsors to have their logos out and have them aware to be
I
attending.
mean, again, you're going with sponsors that we've already used.
I'm
So-
okay with it, it's just.
And I don't think they're sponsoring so much for the.
But I'm sure the logos are already in-house because Fiesta Carrusel has to be in-house.
Right.
Um,
The grand companies are now.
The brand companies,
All of the.
New World, all of them are in-house already.
All four vendors from last year have agreed and we already have their logos and vector files.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, again, I understand it's a quick turnaround because you're talking about 30 days.
Mhm.
But if you get the wording done, how fast can fast signs turn around the wording on the plaques?
I would say maybe 2 days, 3 days. I'm not worried about the timeline for it to be installed.
Now, Jim, have you contacted the inductees?
That's my other worry.
Are they good for the date?
Haven't heard anybody say no. I've contacted them about pictures, who they want to introduce them, and
On my end, publicizing, our communications team is pretty effective.
Yeah, it's
We can turn it,
so
we
we
can turn
have
around.
people there and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can
So
start.
what's the concern right now?
My concern is just, it's always the same concern. It's usually November when we're planning and finalizing event details.
It's gotten to this point, Jared, where it's getting, this is becoming
It's
it's a well-oiled machine now. This isn't 6 years ago when it was me and Tim sitting in a room trying to figure out how we were gonna put this on. And the fact that we did such a great event last year,
Outside, yeah.
outside for the first time ever,
It's beautiful.
it was, again, knock on wood, if the weather is like last year, and you're gold.
It's just we didn't have people there because people really didn't know about it. Right.
I will.
And we
say
had the
don't need
COVID
as
stuff.
many high tops this year. That's something that we talked about last year. We had too many high tops.
It's just because we didn't have a lot of people. You're hoping that you get more people.
So do we want to keep it the same? Have
High
we
tops
done
don't
more?
cost that much.
No.
The high tops are like $10.
Okay. I mean, we have the money, so
Yeah.
it's not a big.
The high tops are really.
It was more, I
$8.
remember last year,
$8,
the
$10.
issue was that it didn't feel as full because we had it. And so I know that that was a concern. So do we care about that if it doesn't feel full?
No, I think it's just more of us making sure that we put it together a successful campaign. Twice a week posting primetime weekends.
Right.
Twice a week posting primetime, all the way up to the event.
I think we need to hit up flag football, get Juan to put it out there. Because he's got chat messages with all the coaches.
Inductees, are there any groups that would be particular to the inductees? Previous high school athletes that would want to attend on their coaches or
well, Gary
I'm talking
Craig with his baseball, from HML, they may have,
that's something we should probably look at.
Yeah, and maybe Jim, the next time you reach out to the inductees, like send them the link. Do we have a link already live or not?
Yeah.
I have to take, I don't think so.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah, they can forward
Tell
it,
them
yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
forward it.
Right,
Like, this
okay.
is open to the
Are we
public.
doing anything in the Miami Lakers?
Yes,
Okay.
so I have to take a look at if that was already approved to be published coming up, or if it might have been already, I don't think it went out already. I have to check that with Manny, but I know that that was on one of our dockets, because it's fairly inexpensive on our end.
Okay. I like the idea of inviting past participants and giving them a photo. It seems like we have the funds for it. What would that look like though? Another $1,000?
No, I don't think so.
It depends how many, you have to look at all the inductees.
Yeah. Can you
I
get
have
us
that
a
list.
quote
I don't
for
think a lot
that,
of them are
Jim?
gonna come.
For the amount?
how many inductees do we?
I'll tell you right now.
We know
Give me a
it's
second,
like,
I have a list.
it's like an average of 5
For the
times
first-
3,
Yeah.
15. Maybe 12, 15, 4, at least 4.
I'm trying to picture the wall on
Well, the
Yeah.
first class was, I think, 4.
I mean,
The second class was 5.
I think the
And the
only
second-
thing extra
third
that
class
we
is fine
could
as
do
well.
this year that we didn't do last year is have like a DJ or some sort of live music or whatever. We don't need it though. I think last year it was fine with the sound that with the playlist that you guys put together was great.
Right.
Like if I'd rather spend money on the photos if it comes down to like.
All right,
choosing one and putting it
2017
together.
was Shula Mandich, Ochoa McCall.
4.
Unfortunately, out of those 4, 3 of them are deceased.
Right.
Alex Ochoa, I'm sure we can get him here. He was there last year.
Mhm.
If
Yeah,
we-
I
If we
think
tell
he'll
him,
definitely be here, and so will Miriam.
yeah. Second group was Tony Nathan, Jim, Joel, Sarah Seidner, and William Graham. And then the third year was, but Miriam has her shirt from last year. And the third year was Corciani, Oliver, Javi Zapata, and George Denton. So Sarah Seidner, I can guarantee you she won't make it because her schedule is all over the place,
All over the world.
all over the world, literally, if you follow her on Twitter. Joel's at Akron. I mean, we can get a shirt size from him and give it to his dad, present it to his dad. We want to go that route, if we can get his dad here, which I'm sure we can. Tony Nathan, would you be able to get a hold of Tony?
I don't have actually Tony's contact. You might.
That was actually through
Probably Tim.
Collazo. I believe Councilman Collazo.
So we got to reach out to the councilman to see if he still can get us a hold of Tony. And then for,
Because he lives in Miami Lakes, so.
yeah, for William Graham, what would we want to give it to?
It was Andrea that came out,
I think it was Andrea that came out that day.
which she would be in attendance as a sponsor.
Yeah, so we can present the shirt to her if we want.
Hey, Jim, I don't mind paying for it. Can you give me a 2XL? I don't have one. And just let me know what it is.
No, we're talking about.
We're
Oh,
gonna buy for the ones that are missing,
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
you know? And then the third class, I can get a hold of Corciani. I mean, I've been texting with him back and forth. I don't know if he'll be able to fly down, but I can, now that I know the date.
Well, because
I think we
Stevie's
can
here
mail it.
tomorrow.
Who?
Because.
That's why I'm gonna tell him it's Stevie. I don't
Yeah.
think he knows it's Steve.
Right.
So he might fly down for that. I mean, I can get Javi this weekend and get you a size.
We need to have a basketball clinic on Saturday morning.
The
With
day of the-
Steve, if we get
Oh.
Coach Annie and Steve here,
You
we
know,
could do it over at Miami Lakes Athletic Club.
and then Ochoa would be the only other one that we need to get a size for, which I don't know who at baseball. I don't know if Brian can get him at baseball. I see him at the Optimus all the time.
I know he's also, I think, good friends with Councilman Collazo as well, so.
So I don't know if Collazo can get us Ochoa's size and Tony Nathan's size, and then really it's Corciani, Javi Zapata, Joel Rodriguez. So, I mean, we're talking maybe another 8 shirts. So figure another $400, if that. I'm staying at $50 a shirt.
I think that's fine. So let's run the math.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, let's
So,
run the math right now. So we're at, okay, 4,500 is what we have without the 500 extra that we might get.
correct,
So 4,500 minus this, what was it, 1,300?
1,300.
These get 32.
Okay.
The
Minus.
food, let's say, let's
Food was
budget
800.
1,000.
I was gonna say, just in case it went up. put it
Just in
at
case it went
1,000.
up.
So 2,200,
Yeah.
the plaques are done, so we don't have to waste money on that. So
Correct.
The
polos,
drinks,
The drinks were 300.
300.
that was last time, so let's say 400
Yeah,
now.
call it 500 even. Doesn't matter if,
Okay, 500 drinks.
yeah. just
So
to be-
1,700 right now, that's not including,
the shirts.
polos. And so polos come out to how much?
Well, we said 230 last year was for 5.
For 5,
We'll say, let's say $50 a shirt,
okay,
a round
So
number.
that's 400.
So that's, no, $50 a shirt for 4 is
200.
200.
No,
And
but
then
I
if
think
we
for
do the other
eight.
5, let's say we do the other 5 inductees that are past inductees, another 250, you're talking 450.
So call it.
Call it
I
500. Call it 500.
think you said there's 8 pass.
Yeah.
There's up to 8, but again, okay, let's say 8, worst case scenario. So that's 400, and the 200 for this year is 1,000. You still got $700 left.
So even if you call it 1,000 at polo,
Yeah,
you're still,
you still have $700 left plus a possible 500 from the other.
so and then last year we got
Oh, okay.
bartending for 150.
Okay, let's do that again.
And does anybody remind me where we got the bartend? I have to take a look.
I thought that was through Fantasy Designers.
I got a guy for you if you want it. He'll probably charge $300 if that, and he's very good. I use him at my house all the time.
I need to go back to party that
Yeah,
year.
you remember that guy, that bartender? That guy's very good.
His own, he has his own company and all that, yeah. So you can get me that contact.
Yeah, I'll send it
But
to you
last
right
year, I think we got someone
I thought it was through Fantasy Designers. Willie did that one.
and it was 150.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get it actually comped through Bacardi, but Bacardi couldn't make it out.
now. If you can't make it, just call this guy. I'll send you the contact. And you can't get the guy there.
I'll call Willie.
I use this guy at my house all the time. He's very good, very responsible.
Awesome. So we might have a few $100 left.
And then at that
Photographer-
point, let's say photographer.
Photographer was 90 because it's in-house staff and it's just paying the hourly rate.
Okay, so if that's the case, we're down to like maybe $200.
You're talking 310 plus the 500 that's possible.
I don't wanna count.
Yeah, that wouldn't count. Don't
Okay,
count the
so-
500 yet.
Okay, but so we're at 310,
Okay.
not including the $500 possibility. You're at 310.
Jeremy, with that, is there anything that you think we should put in? Because I would suggest paid advertising to try to attract more people to come to this on social media. But if not, I would also.
Who
suggest
would you,
music.
the problem is, even with Eventbrite, sometimes you get a lot of people from outside the community.
Yeah.
'Cause it's moving out. Is that the goal? If that's the goal, then by all means.
I think
but
we
if the
wanna
goal is to
celebrate
stay-
people.
But I think if they do enough of it, the problem is, we started it too late and it wasn't done enough. But I think if they keep,
And it was our first year, so we were hesitant with the public. We don't know how many people.
and
we don't know-
COVID and all that kind of stuff, and yeah.
I
And we
would
wanted 10 at one
prefer
point.
past people and like supporters of like, you know.
No, the community,
inductees
essentially.
To come out, but I mean, you can target it to just be like, you want it.
If you think that's where, because remember, also what we were able to do last year was with this, with the savings is how we were able to get the plaques done ahead of time for this
Right.
year.
Yeah. I'm also okay with not spending. I feel like we're gonna get a good showing, so I'm just like throwing out suggestions, like. Open
Plus,
to,
Jim will be celebrating that we get the park bond, so there'll be a lot of people celebrating.
heck yeah, oh.
Hopefully.
Yep.
So I mean, with that in mind, I'm actually, that's a good point. I'd
So we're
rather-
leaving at, how much was it left over, 310?
Roughly.
So call it 300.
Yeah.
That's not a bad holding just in case.
I agree.
And
we're getting.
And
all
then
these quotas.
if we get any other sponsors, it's just additional money.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow,
wow. Look at us.
given the timeliness of this, is there anything with those 500, keep the 300 just in case, with those 500, that you guys would already want us to be looking at if once it's approved and the money's in,
They have music. like set
So-
music.
a DJ?
Yeah,
I think that's the best bet.
yeah.
And let me tell you that Kama, which is the music director for Lady of the Lakes, he'll probably charge $300 to $500, and he comes with a flute, live music, he's a DJ, he is awesome. You know Dominic Kama,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
From Our Lady of the Lakes?
Yeah.
You'll, hey, how much for the, you know?
Licensed and insured?
Yeah, he's licensed.
Okay.
I'll send it to you. You know Kama, Dominic Kama, he's the music director of Lady of the Lakes. He's
I probably
awesome.
met him.
Verify, do you guys have to do verify? That's the
He,
word.
he actually walks around
Only
with
for
a
trade.
flute, and he is awesome.
Okay,
Tell him that I sent you, you know,
The only comment I was gonna make as far as attendance is what my worry is, in my opinion is I think we neglect the inductees as far as how many, we allow them 10 people, that's 40. Potential. I think we should up it to 15 or 16 per, because to me, it's not about the public or anybody else, it's about the
I
inductee.
agree.
And if he is limited to 10, and yet he's got, 10 more people that could come,
Mhm.
that's the one we should be, to me,
Yeah.
marketing, because we're honoring him.
Doing it outside, it's a lot easier. I mean, we had limited to 10 originally because of the
Indoor
space that we had
Right,
in the
right, no,
indoor.
Right, yeah.
But if
Yeah.
we're gonna go outside,
We can bump that up. And
We
the
can
worry
do
if it
20,
did rain,
if you want.
if it did rain, we'd
Right.
still have to come in, right?
Correct.
Right.
Well, we'd stay under the patio as well and then use that until essentially if it's a full washout rain out, it's
Right,
go home once it lets up.
okay.
My only concern is the parking at that point. There's only, I always forget this every year, I think it's either 56 or 60 parking spaces. At 20 a pop, that's potentially 10 vehicles, you say per, that's already 40 just in inductees.
Right.
Council,
I think we're
you
gonna
guys,
see, that's one of those things
Yeah.
where like, if we see how many people sign up, we'll still ask everyone to sign up officially on Eventbrite. We can, message people carpool, whatever.
yeah, it's just, my thing is, when you have these inductees, the biggest thing also for them is the fact that they're guaranteed parking. And that's my only hesitation with opening it to them to attend is not a concern. That's not a concern at all.
But then the other people that come in, they may have to park in the auxiliary.
And I'm okay with that.
yeah,
It's
you
just
have
that
a
you guys,
freebie coming.
yeah,
in,
if-
yeah.
Yeah, we
that's
did.
also a cost.
That freebie?
If you want it
they don't-
dedicated.
They don't run at that hour.
Yeah, if you want me to pull them, to run those hours, then we have to do
Big
it for like
possibility,
football.
So I think that would be something that if we do have extra money,
Okay,
By
that
the
would
way,
be it.
if you do have the extra money, Dominic, like, he's got a sax and he plays live music, walking around and stuff like that.
and so it's interactive.
It has a real nice vibe.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just not a DJ that plays music. He's got
Right.
the sax, he reads the crowd, he knows what to play. He's very good.
Yeah.
He's a music director that all,
Right.
very good.
Yeah, I know his son, he played football, John.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of the program, so I know in the past as chair, you were MC. So if you, I don't know if you mind like sharing programs that you've done, I can take a stab at it. I'd love, Jim. I think it'd be great if you like MC'd a little bit though, just like with your connections with folks. I don't know how you feel about it.
I think there's better MCs in here than myself, that's for sure. Because, no, I mean, I'll do whatever we need to do, but that's why I'm trying to get the people to send me their names of who they want to introduce them.
Yeah. Okay, and I know like in the past, we also individually, we introduced the, I guess, the person that was going to introduce the person. So we can keep that the same. I would just like to see a program possible.
Well,
So you have
He
that.
did, Jeremy did the program.
So the program we had event details for last year. Essentially, this is what I have now. If you're thinking of the actual program that we printed and did the week of, that I didn't print out. I can look it up.
Okay,
But essentially it's 6 p.m., a firm start for the cocktail hour for inductees and family. One staff member, one committee member needs to handle the check-in for that. 6:30, we did the videography interviews with inductees. That's where our communications team just did the one-on-one inside the.
That was the question. Did we finally, and I can't remember last year because I came in so late, because I came in from football. Did we have that backdrop, the Town of Miami-Dade's backdrop?
Yes,
Do we still have it?
I believe we have the backdrop, but we don't have the pipe and frame. The, what's it called? Yeah, pipe and drape for it. That we had to pay.
We had to pay
I
a fantasy,
believe, I
right?
think we paid fantasy. No, maybe I think Willie got it sponsored.
That he did.
Yeah, because I didn't see it come up on any of the other budget items.
That
A
might
separate
be-
repeat.
Because I mean, if we're gonna do video again, I think it would be good to have the town drape in the background, no?
Oh, yeah.
Separate repeat.
Yeah, they got that room right.
It
there,
was-
everybody was
I think what it
wondering.
was they said if they had it still on hand, it would be no charge. They
Yeah.
would, they would.
And I think they ended up having it,
Yeah, they kept it from, I think, the previous year's food and
Yeah.
wine or something.
something like that.
I'll follow up on that. I'll go fantasy.
okay.
I'm
So
just
last
gonna-
year, I think, we did the sign-in up front.
Right.
What else was there?
Cocktail lasted till about 6:45. That's where we started having inductees kind of pull away from the cocktail, make it to the seating. That's when general admission was then coming in at 7. 7:10 ceremony began. We had timed it. I think it was pretty close to 8 o'clock, might have been like 8:10, 8:05 was the unveiling of plaques. And then we served at 8:15. Inductees first and then public after.
Okay,
And we started cleaning up an hour after food was served, then closed by 9:30. And that was it.
oh, and I think some of us helped you set up last year, like a little bit. I know you guys did the bulk of it, but there was a little bit.
Possibly.
Yeah,
I think like the final putting the, like the skirts and the stuff, the linens
Right.
and stuff we put on.
okay.
I don't think there, I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
And then dessert, I think that we helped.
We
with
helped,
dessert,
we helped,
so-
put it out, yeah.
Okay, so I think just kind of come with that in mind, just to be there a little bit early.
Yeah, is there anybody that for sure does foresees that they will not be able to make it before the 6 o'clock start? Just so I know to work with that in my mind, or is everybody here potentially available for before that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless football, some teams with football will be all right.
I can handle that.
In the past,
We thought you were
we,
gonna handle that last year.
I think in the
I
past, we dressed up a little bit.
Right.
We do have our polos. So how do you guys feel? Would you rather dress up or wear the polos?
I think last year I was in a pair of linen pants and a button down, but, because I came
Well,
running
you
and I
can
changed in the
spring-
parking lot.
No, I think that's good.
I think the polos, we all look, nice pair of slacks and the polos, we all look uniform, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't go with jeans or anything like that.
Yeah,
I would
nice
go
pair of
with
slacks and polos.
And a
We
sports
all look
jacket.
uniform and a sports
A sports
jacket, maybe,
jacket?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I like that. Okay,
Not
cool.
just getting fancy on it, bro.
We're working on
I
that for
love
you.
that.
Jim's bringing his dancing shoes.
Yeah, right, who's second dance?
Okay,
I can unfortunately wear a sports jacket.
so I feel really good about this.
So nice and cool.
Anything I'm
So nice and
missing?
cool.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
Well, what I'm
Okay.
missing though is, back up just for a minute on the start is 6 o'clock is, do because last year, the problem that I think that we encountered in the check-ins is that some people that we had told, some people come at 6, I think, and some people come at 6:30. Was that what we had told them?
Something like that.
Something like the Hall of Famers could come at 6.
Yeah, Hall of
Yeah,
Fame and then general admission will come
It's at
at
7.
7,
At 7,
correct.
okay. But the awkward part was when, you invite 10 people, that's the max last year. When do they come? Because if as an example, if you only had 4 Hall of Famers that were there at 6 and nobody else came until 7, what are they doing?
Well, no, the invited guests all got into the cocktail,
So in other words, the invited guests came at 6.
correct?
Yes. If they're part of the party,
Yeah.
of the
So
group,
they're part of the 10, they were.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. so-
Along with all the sponsors, along with us, and essentially if any council members can make it.
Okay,
And.
well, that's good. I don't know why, we had people coming in at different times that they should have been here at 6 and they were staggering at 6:30 because they were told that they couldn't come in.
Well, that's what I also want to make sure we're clear when it comes to
Right.
the Eventbrite side.
Right.
Anything that is 6 o'clock will not be Eventbrite.
Right, well, that's good. Because
Yeah.
I think.
and I would put it on
The
the event,
RSVP,
honestly, on the Eventbrite, I'll put 6:45.
Yeah.
Because if you want to stick to a 7:10 program start,
Yeah.
if you do it at 7, 10 minutes, we're not gonna have.
That will go up to the MC. If they started at 7, it starts at 7. We will do our best internally for the VIP to let them know at 6:45, we need to start making our way to the seating area.
Another thing that I think happened last year is we had people that didn't come through the front, they just.
To the side, it was open to the side, people just walked through the side. They didn't even know to go through the front.
Right.
So you had some people come through the side and then they would go through the front to the back.
Well, that's gonna happen because once the parking lot fills up, they're gonna come from the tennis court.
Right.
So,
So maybe we'll have like some committee members on the side, just like, hey, go check in. just
Well,
so we
maybe
have a head
somebody
count.
saying it's gonna open up at 7 unless they're, with guests. I think that was the odd part, right? When people come through the side, through the back, how do you know they're with the guests? See, that's what becomes odd, right? See, like you have,
well, that's where it goes back to the defined people on the guest list need to be given to us in advance.
so then whoever's manning that, are you on the guest list? Are you on the VIP guest
Mhm.
list? Or are you gonna wait till 7? They're not gonna tell you they're on the VIP guest list. So whoever's manning that, I think that's what was missing last year. It's not someone manning the entrance, someone manning the side.
Well, no, I can have park staff,
Right.
granted, there's limitations on that, but I can have park staff directing the individuals there to go to the patio area, go to the building, not to go straight into the event.
Go to the main
Yeah.
entrance.
Mhm.
On the invitation, can't we say, go to the main entrance?
Yeah. we
Yeah.
can.
But the supplement.
Please,
Please check in or the
Mhm.
main entrance.
Anything else you think we're missing?
Since we finalized the line item budget, would it be possible to get an email of what we just decided on for the budget?
Yeah, I'll break it down just kind of like what we did here.
Do we need a vote or not needed?
Yeah, just authorize me to,
Okay.
so you're gonna have to go through the list
Oh,
there.
no.
Your motion's
Oh,
gonna
no.
be extensive.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Hold on, let me. I didn't break it down.
I got it.
I've got it.
Okay. All right. Do we have can you bring up a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
For the budget of linens, tables, high tops, lights, 1,300. Food at 1,000, drinks at 500, polos at 1,000, the bartender 300, photography at 90. And then we'll have other services that we requested if we get extra money, like, and then we talked about the music and stuff like that. So I'll make a motion on that.
Music and then,
Freebies.
And freebie,
Freebie.
depending on what freebie costs. I don't know what that usually runs.
Mhm.
I'll second.
$200.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
So we have our budget to move forward with, marching orders. Question for the committee that we should have gone through this at the beginning is, who's gonna write up the minutes for this event with no secretary?
Hmm. Great question.
the best thing is you have a video that you can go back to.
Yeah.
That's my only concern, just because remember, the town is, it's not proper for the town to write minutes on its own
Yes, we should.
committee event.
If you can get me your notes, I can
Okay.
put it together.
Okay.
I'll put it together.
Yeah, okay,
I wrote that down.
okay.
And then, like I said, you'll have these up by tomorrow, so you can review the meeting.
I had a question on the polos though, on the sizes, because,
Well,
You know,
the two that I
we're-
want to try to get is
right,
Tony Nathan and Ochoa.
Yeah, and I'll get Zapata and I'll get Corchion.
Is there anyone else you're missing from the possible attendees that we went through? You said there was how many?
well,
Ochoa
there was,
in the first class,
there was
second class
13,
is Nathan,
13.
Joel Rodriguez, William Graham, and Sarah Sidner. We know Sarah Sidner won't show.
That's not, I'd rather have it in writing that she can't show.
No, I mean, how are we gonna get a hold of her?
Who was the
That
point of
was Tim.
contact? Tim.
Tim,
That was a Tim person.
We can reach out to her Twitter.
I've tried that.
Really?
Oh, I've tried that a million times, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure the amount of tweets she gets is in the
Yeah.
thousands an hour, and I've tried sending her, and I can't DM her because you can't DM unless they follow you.
mhm.
Do any of you still, do you still talk to
Mm.
Mr. Hamilton?
No,
To
to
Tim, no.
Tim. Do you still reach out to Tim at all?
I
Or you have
can't,
his contact?
Well, I have his contact.
Oh,
I
Reynolds,
can-
Tim Reynolds.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking Helen? I'm thinking-
I can reach out as well and see if we can get us the contact.
And then the third class would be Corchiani, which I'll drop him a line tomorrow, and then Javi Zapata, because Dave will have his shirt. I mean, we want to make obviously Dave a shirt, an inductee shirt. So,
I think he's earned that right.
same with Jim. Jim will have two shirts now.
well, there's a different logo,
I know.
and what we done for the committee too, that was not part of it.
Well, that goes,
I would make a motion to include polos in, using our budget, $1 million for committee members.
so then give me the priority here. Is it the DJ freebie polos or polos DJ freebie?
I think polos for the DJ.
Polos freebie DJ.
You want to put freebie over DJ?
Yeah.
Because freebie would only be necessary if we go to the Oxlot, right?
Would we go, if we go, really, it's only if we go all the way to the
Which is unlikely.
school. And even to be honest with you, with the school parking lot, if
On
we had any
on
other.
Saturday night, you're gonna have mass, it's gonna be packed anyway. They have mass at 5 o'clock on Saturdays.
And their evening masses are filling up even the school parking lot?
I went this past Saturday and it was pretty,
But school parking lot
No,
too?
but They fill up the church, they never fill up the school parking lot.
And on that note, is the club, will the club be able to sponsor and have any other club members be there? Because if I can have
Last
also,
year,
yeah, because if I can have another volunteer like we did last year, they can actually use the town golf cart to and
Oh,
from the
that'd be
parking lot.
great.
right.
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
And that way you avoid the
Yeah.
freebie.
In that
Yeah.
case, I would prefer music over.
Yeah.
I prefer
That music has a nice ambiance, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right, so we're gonna go DJ 1 and then 2 is polos.
All right, so it's technically a vote, so do I have a second?
well, you
Not
said
over.
you wanted to do the polos for sure though, right?
Yeah, polos
So-
starting.
Huh?
Polos, but that's if we get,
Yeah, but we have money left over for 2 polos that we need
it's just 2 polos?
for committee members.
I suppose,
Just
yeah.
confirm, yeah, just want to confirm. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
the
see,
only one that doesn't have one, but I don't
Well,
have
you
paying for it.
and,
It's
no,
fine.
there's
Well,
also,
if we have $1,000 budget for
Right.
polos, that's
Right.
20 polos.
yeah, but that goes back to us budgeting for individuals that we believe, or
Yeah, but
we
we're
think
not
will
gonna
be
order.
here.
But that's 20, so
That's
we've got
20 though.
eight previous, 4 current, that's 12.
12, so we
That
still
leaves
have-
8
Okay,
open.
so then, yeah. then-
Okay.
So it's already
So that's
included.
included.
We'll have money
we're
left
good.
over.
Okay, great. So then,
Yeah, it'd be DJ.
But the key
basically.
is getting the sizes, because last time I went to Nike, they didn't have any in Navy, and I had to go to a different source to get Nike. And I
Two
got-
XL for me and Ken Jim. Do you want me to see if he's got the 10th available
Yeah.
without committing to him and then get back to you?
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
No,
I
no,
don't know where
the
he is.
DJ.
I do a
He-
large.
Oh.
He gets very busy.
okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Is the large.
And he would only have to really work,
Okay.
it's 6
I
to
should've
6 to
done
7,
that.
so 1 hour.
We're gonna set up the trailer, same setup as last year.
Yeah. Banner, we'll fence around so that any sponsors bring their banners, they can put their banners up. Seating area up front, high boys in the back,
Let us know if you.
Patio.
Yeah.
All right.
Bistro lighting, just like last time.
Yeah, I know when Photo tried to do drone, they got shot down on the drone last year. 'Cause we were
So-
too close to.
Yeah,
the
because
airport.
we're in the direct path to the airport.
Yeah, so he tried to launch the drone like 3 or 4 times. I kept watching him from the front, and he tried to launch it 3 or 4 times, and every time he would go up like 10 feet, right back down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it did that.
Yeah, it does it automatically. When you're in a flight path, it doesn't even let you go up. I think the most will let you go up is like 20 feet.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
as soon as you exceed 20 feet, it starts to give you an
It shuts you
advisory
down.
and it'll bring it down.
No kidding. So
Yeah.
there's like something that
Yeah.
knocks it down automatically.
Well, no, the airport will knock it down.
But what do they do? The satellite, I'm assuming
I
they just knock
guess.
it down. That's
That's
pretty
so
impressive.
cool.
Even at my
Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
at City Hall, we get shot down
Yeah.
because at my age right there.
Wow.
You need to be, you need to actually be licensed, almost, you have to be basically a pilot and you can call out, like a normal pilot would say, approaching at a bearing, something.
Yeah.
You can do it if you're authorized to do it, but you have to call out every move you make with a drone.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why, I mean, I know he tried his hardest. I mean.
Yeah, he
tried
did, he
his
got
best.
like 10 foot high.
Yeah, he got 10 feet
shots.
up, he did it, this is a 2 quick pass flies, and that's what he put in the video. The video came out really good last year.
Yeah.
The post video was really nice. So,
All right, guys, anything else you want to discuss?
just out of curiosity, so do you want me to MC or am I standby or what are we gonna do? Just so I can prepare, because I prepare my notes and stuff like that, so I just wanna make sure I know what I'm doing that day.
Yeah, so.
Obviously, I know when Jim gets people to talk inductions, that's fine, that's not an issue, but someone still needs to introduce them and then stuff like that, so I just wanna know what notes I'm preparing or if I'm not preparing any notes.
Yeah, so, Jim, I had asked if you were interested, do you want to?
I'd rather not, if I
Okay.
could get out of it.
Okay, all right. So I'm happy to give an intro and then I'm very happy for you to MC. Yeah, that would be great, actually.
Jim is better working the crowd. Jim loves working the crowd. Well, that's, yeah.
I
Okay,
love not talking, that's for sure.
great.
Well,
Cool.
as a statue, you won't be talking.
I'm telling you, I'm
He
not
does
kidding
great
you.
handing
If
out
we
the
get
shirt
that-
and the plaque, he loves that.
All right.
And then what we did last year also, and then just to jog my memory now, is we also did like a little swag bag. So it was their polos, it was other Miami Lakes issue things like a coffee mug we gave out,
I know there was
little
a cow.
we gave the cows out, we gave a ton of stickers so they can brand anything they want. So we'll do that on our end as well.
Okay.
Can we have a nice bag though, to give it to?
Yeah,
them?
last time I think we put it in just, all we had was the all cardboard bag is what we ended up having. So I don't know, do we want to purchase bags?
Well, I
Is that
mean,
what-
if it was fine, I didn't remember that, I could remember
Oh, I remember them being like bags and they had like stuff.
they were fine, right?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, we have the
That's
same
fine.
ones,
So
stuff.
that's fine.
Yeah.
The question I had on that aspect is that I thought personally it was awkward for us when the inductee was coming up to the podium and then we were, particularly if he had notes and he was trying to, get a polo shirt at the same time, I think we should present it almost when he's done. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's awkward or not, but it just seemed awkward if somebody was trying to get a polo and a bag and where are they gonna put it? Because there was no
Yeah.
table up there.
Yeah, we'll do it after. Yeah,
I
so
think-
we'll put an entry and an exit point, and on the exit point, we'll have the table down there, and
Right.
it can just be handed to them.
I think that's.
The swag bag better.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm sorry, just, the other comment was though, we need to make a motion as far, because one of the things that the inductees, they know nothing. I mean, if we weren't calling them, I mean, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that if we didn't call them, I didn't call them and say, hey, you have to provide a picture. If you're going to be introduced by somebody, I need to know the name.
Mhm.
But there's nothing officially going out to any of the inductees.
As far as a reminder of the event,
No, because
A congratulations letter or something like that.
well, I mean, there was no announcement letter or congratulatory
Okay.
letter.
Oh,
I get
I called them and then Manny, the mayor, called them
got it.
because I was trying to get the mayor's office to send a letter. So it was kind of like the top office reaching out to them is more impressive than somebody from our committee.
do you want me to work on that through the mayor's office this week then?
Well, no, it's really, I mean, the mayor called them So.
But we can still,
I
we can
think
still put
Joseph
together a
is good.
nice,
I think it's kind of like an official
Yeah.
congratulatory letter that says,
Right.
hey, you know, you're.
Oh, that's a really, yeah.
Remind
we should
them.
have that.
And tell them, you know, we look forward to having your,
You know, because it,
you
again,
and your loved ones at our event on that.
right,
that's in
Yeah.
writing, it's more official. And if it came from the mayor's office, I think that's, or the Hall of Fame. But.
I like that idea.
and I think the letter should state, to your point, that someone should introduce them, right?
They should have all the information.
Yeah, all the details that you want.
All the
Right.
details of having someone introduce them, and in that introduction, someone introduce you 2 to 4 minutes.
Right,
Because there was
Right,
one,
yeah,
there was one guy that spoke more than the three.
well, you know, that
That
was.
was Don Bailey Jr.
Yeah, Don Village. But my idea was more, you know, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when we first got it approved, the letter should have gone
And,
to
and,
them.
and we can do that moving forward. On
Right,
this
that's what
point,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
we'll start now to at least give
Right.
them that letter so they're
Right.
aware. I still do need their best photo and all. Manny hasn't requested that from you yet? Manny Martinez?
No,
No, okay.
no, I reached out to them because I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So I called them and said, hey, we need 5x7 photos and, you know, and I don't even know exactly, are they sending it directly to Manny? So I'd have to give them, you know, what kind of format it is or. a live
High, all it needs
picture.
to be is a high resolution. The size of the image doesn't, the size of the photo doesn't matter. What I just need from them is the highest resolution photo of them they have. It can be action and or ideally it's a headshot because we want to remember the person and put a face to it. But it should just be a high res photo. Obviously,
Okay.
digital if possible.
Okay, so is that's what I'm saying. So the first idea was a congratulatory letter, but then a second letter go out a week or two after that saying, here are the details.
No, I
You
would
can
put it in
write-
that, I would put it in the congratulatory letter as well.
Okay.
At the
well,
bottom, it would just have, here's some deliverables we need to finalize some of your induction
Your
pieces.
induction.
Well, and we need to tell them what the dress code, because they're asked, every one of them asked me, what do I wear? I said, well, you can wear a coat and tie, you can wear a sport jacket and a nice, you know, it's a dress up evening. And how many people they can invite was a key question. Is there going to be food?
Yeah.
What, in other words, what's
Yeah, event
the,
details.
what's the agenda?
Yeah.
Kind of like
An agenda, right?
an agenda, because they are in the dark, they don't, they just know that.
No, we can definitely put together a one pager and then have it executed out of the mayor's office. So we'll get to work on that and
I just need addresses for people.
that's what I need on your end. The addresses of where to send it and or
You want-
emails.
You want
I
their
mean, but
email address or their home address?
I would do both.
Email.
I would-
And or email.
I'll do both because I need the email for response reasons. Some of that stuff they can send me digitally, but I also want them to have something to take home and to
Right.
keep. If they want to frame it, they can do so. I
Okay,
think,
everyone, so if that's it, any other comments?
We have to decide by the next meeting or, because it's getting, I mean, like, we still need to say, well, who's gonna sit at the
Yeah.
table when they come in? I think the committee really should be, you know, with them from the 6 to 7 o'clock hour.
I
so
think
that
we should all
can
be there
mingle with
before.
them.
I think we all need a commitment of what time we should be there, you
Right.
know?
Well, no, I'm not
5:30,
saying our
45.
duties though, is what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say is, I know we're all
Have a
gonna be on
meeting
time,
to
but just
recap.
the duties, so.
I mean, the question now is, how much would it cost for town staff to sit at the table? Because if you want the committee members to mingle with the Hall of Famers,
Right.
you know, I understand in the past, we've sat at the table and checked people in.
I mean, other than your liaison, there isn't identified staff for this event. And it's not been common practice for staff from other committees and so forth.
I'm fine with us doing that.
Yeah.
That's
I
so-
just think Jim wants to set a date, so we don't have to make sure who can make it and not make it just prior to the event, right?
Right.
Okay,
so
so
like a
If we're all
follow-up.
good, we
Right.
don't have
Yeah,
to.
I'm pulling up the calendar here.
Alright.
Yeah.
Just understanding that Thanksgiving is coming, so,
Yeah, after that will be just before the event.
all right, so maybe the week of the 30th. I think the week after would be a little too close. Are you all available, the 28th, Monday? Maybe at the same time?
November 28th.
Yeah.
November 28th. I do have a Royal Oaks district meeting at 7,
Okay.
7 to 8.
Would the 29th be better?
Right now, I don't see Royal Oaks, but let me take a look at the virtual calendar. I don't see anything on the 29th.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see anything on the 29th on the virtual calendar.
Does that
just
work
yet.
for everyone,
You
the
can.
29th?
You can't?
No,
Unfortunately, in the season I'm in right now, I'm only available on Mondays.
on Mondays.
How about the fifth?
That's the
Well,
week of the event.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
the
that's.
28th, could we do maybe later, like 8?
You can do 8,
We can do 8.
Can we do 6?
you can do 6.
Or even, I mean, for that meeting, do we need more than 30 minutes to question? Maybe we do 6:30 to 7.
I'm fine with 6:30 to 7, personally. I can-
29th.
On the 28th, Monday the 28th.
You're probably better off in case we go a little longer, 6.
Yeah, go to 6 to 7. We,
Yeah,
you know, if
and we might be
people get
done
here
before.
6:15, this is what it
Yeah.
is, you know what I mean?
I probably can't make it here at 6 would work, but.
Okay, so that's fine.
That's what I'm saying, 6:30, you know.
6:30 is good.
But book it 6 to 7, and if people get here early, we start before
I have to
6:30.
notice the public correctly.
Mhm.
I can put 6 to 7, except we just.
No, 6:30 is good. You can get here 6:30. 6:30 is fine. I don't, like you said, I don't think it's gonna take more than 30 minutes. It's just like, hey, what time we're gonna get there, who's gonna do what? That's basically it, right? That's
Okay.
all.
It'll make us have a quick meeting too.
Yeah.
Efficient.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have a practice with him Tuesdays and Thursdays, and with my
28.
daughter on Wednesdays.
The 28th at 6:30.
Perfect. Adding it to my calendar. With that, so our next meeting will be November 28th at 6:30 PM. If there's nothing else to discuss tonight, I'm gonna call the meeting, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. Call the meeting to adjournment, do you have to vote on that?
Just to have it clear.
Okay, all
You got a
right.
motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And seeing none opposed, passed.
Close.
Excellent.
Thank you
Closed at
all.
8:09 PM.
Now, it's great.
Cool. Fire.